I think that Donald Trump, he saw the stock market went down, he didn't want another big stock market rout, so he wanted to calm the waters.
Why are the Chinese doing this? Do they want a trade war, or is it just kind of a gambit that they put out there that they hope will kind of help them remove some of the American tariffs?
Nobody wants a trade war. What they want is the best possible condition in the negotiations they have with the U.S. Overall, from the perspective of the U.S. Government, so far it's been going exactly as they wanted. Before they started negotiating these tariffs, if you listen to Scott Bessent and Howard Ludwig, you got clear indication that they wanted to collect about $300 to $600 billion a year on tariffs. And then I did my math and figured out that that's probably around 15% average, real tariffs. And so they wanted to reach that, and have done that with a whole lot of nations. And then they wanted to save China to as the last one. And the reason they wanted to save China is it's by far the biggest issue from the American perspective. It's the most difficult negotiation. So far, so good. However, it's getting a little bit rough, and China wants to make it rough for America in these negotiations. Of course, that's a completely typical situation when two sort of equal partners are negotiating, that they both, up the ante before you reach the final agreement. So they're harassing each other right now, but I think we will get an agreement.
When I looked at it, it was like this came as a surprise to the U.S. That had been quiet for a while around trade. She was going to meet with Donald Trump in Korea, and suddenly this happens. Do you think it came out of the blue, or did the Americans expect this?
I don't think the Americans expected this. There have been some things from America that the Chinese can experience as provocations, but it was a very, very hard blow back. And then, of course, Donald Trump did what Donald Trump does, and he said, okay, we're going to slash another 100% tariffs on top of the ones you already got. And both of them have a lot of different ways to harass each other. What is happening in such a situation is typically that before the two leaders meet, in this case on October 29th, you have ongoing negotiations between two teams. And on the day they meet, we'll probably have pretty much everything ironed out. Perhaps a couple of sticking points where it's up to a direct discussion between Xi and Trump. But most likely they will come out and announce a trade agreement, and everybody will be relieved. But I think the trade agreement will be more friendly to China than many people expect.
I mean, I kind of caught the message that Trump wanted to add this 100% tariff. But then on the next day, he said, everything will be fine with China. China just kind of had a bad day, or she had a bad day. I guess that's kind of a slightly arrogant message, I suppose. But do you have an idea? I mean, were they talking on other channels during that time?
Well, they've been talking all the time. It's two extremely competent teams that are talking at the highest level, and then of course you have on both sides an army of people supporting with information and estimations and so on, and also looking at legal implementation. I think that Donald Trump, he saw the stock market went down, he didn't want another big stock market rout, so he wanted to calm the waters. But Donald Trump uses something that can be called strategic ambiguity. You never know where you have him. Some people think that it's because he's a very confused person. I think it's just a negotiation tactic, which is very efficient many times. I think by really rattling the rare earth tool, that China has actually made an impression on the US, is that it can become very expensive for the US if they don't have a deal. And of course, the US says, okay, but it can also become extremely expensive for you.